What's up, guys? Ninja on a ninja, and listen to this.
Kake. Greetings, Dr. Tyson. Mike Kake from Berlin, Germany. While it's well known that most of Earth's energy originates from the sun, I'm curious about the source of tidal energy. Can it be traced back to the sun, or does it stem from a different origin? Is it possible that tidal energy has multiple sources?
I love that.
So, we don't know if it's stalling, and then if how much transpired between edits, but there's an edit, and I have to point them out because people like to hide behind edits and make this fake alter image of themselves that isn't real. It's kind of like taking a picture of your best side and your best look, and you cut your hair perfectly, and you just always look at it and say, hi, how you doing, what's up? Yeah, my name is, and they always have this expression towards use their best angle, but they never give you the full you, the which I'm marrying, and why divorce is so high, and why bitches are getting. And anyways, you've been tricked, ladies. You've been tricked.
Support for why dark matter can't
So we don't know if there's a.
be black holes. Radical outside of what chemistry, physics, psychology. Let's say we be black.
Kake. Greetings, Dr. Tyson. Mike Kake from Berlin, Germany. While it's well known that most of Earth's energy originates from the sun, I'm curious about the source of tidal energy. Can it be traced back to the sun, or does it stem from a different origin? Is it possible that tidal energy has multiple sources?
Watch.
I love that because when we
See, I love that because you can see that the edit, it's not like there's something else. What are you hiding? And you can say, oh, I'm hiding to fit in a small. No, you're covering something up to portray yourself to be a way that you not really are. See what I'm saying?
talk about green energy, we're talking about renewable energy. And if you could turn plants into gasoline, which we do with ethanol, which is the one from corn.
My wife is from Nebraska, so she can.
By the way, that's why corn is bred everywhere, and I think race cars or something they go for ethanol. That's why we produce ethanol. It's because of that. It's not because corn is best or blah blah. No, it's because they want the race cars and whatnot. So
I'm gonna be very
So
disappointed if I don't know the
She gonna
corn thing.
kick your ass. Yeah, I think ethanol, we get that from corn.
Yes.
And corn is a renewable resource. All right. It's not fossil fuels where you take it out, you can't wait for new fossils to form.
yes, you can. Uh, you can over the long term. It's just in the short term, no, you can't, and that has to be pointed out because there are people that could address this open mindedly that think outside the box of what education is and how refining and limiting your education is, and how I pointed this out before. Uh, Basically, education is kind of a form of brainwashing in an extent where you stop thinking one way and you only think another way. And this is why it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, is because they are, this is how they've operated for a very long time. And now to change my ways is fucking weird, right? It's like kingdoms suck and shit, and this is why they're still fucking, like old school, like old schools, because that's no one's gonna make them change, and so they're not changing, and they're not adapting because that's anyways.
All right. That's not how that works. So that's why one is renewable and one isn't.
No, they're both renewable. It's just that one is quickly renewable and one is not, and so they can quickly resource corn into ethanol to make the gasoline for their RC cars and their whatever cars, and that's why they get all these grants from the government and shit to do that, and why everyone else that does everything green energy and shit, and why like the good is making it despite not being funded. And the reason why is because it's good and people like it, kind of like me. I thrive because the people that know me I'm a good person. The people that learn from me know I offer good advice and blah blah blah. So you keep me around, you're gonna do well, right? But the reason why bad people stick around is because they lie, cheat, and steal, and they're tricking our government to get us our tax dollars to fund their bullshit, and they're stealing your money to fund these projects, and backdoors and bullshit, blah blah blah. It's important to pay attention to it. And again, this is why I hate people that say, like, "Oh, definitively this, definitively that." It's because you don't know. And when you say it like you know, then it stops people from being curious about it because they think you know when you actually don't. So shut the fuck up with that shit. Or at least say, like, we think, you know what I'm saying? We think this is. So a kid can see that and be, you think, huh? And so now they go into it and they find, well, did you know that if you flick this switch to be like this, suddenly instead of ethanol turns into actual just normal gasoline? Like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know because you fuckers are closed minded. And that's why scientists right now are so limited because they're so concerned with, I didn't get my name listed in the book. And they hold on discovering shit. And why alphas are fucking nowhere near is because you bastards are closed minded and you won't let anybody be. Basically, like, why is there nobody here? Like, hey, I got a question. Shut up, you! Banned! And she's banished. And I wonder why no one has questions. It's like, come on, bro. Come on.
By the way, do you know the original energy source of fossil fuels? The sun.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, you were going to say
I
dinosaurs?
was going to say dinosaurs.
No, it's mostly plant life at the time. But where does plant get its energy?
From the sun.
The sun.
Photosynthesis.
So
Everything gets its energy from the sun, Neil. Basically, we don't, but technically we do because we eat the things that get from the sun. So by um, osmosis or by not osmosis, but not literally osmosis, but basically I can't think of the word. We get the energy one way or another from the sun. Just you eat a plant and the plant got the energy from the sun, and you're eating the plant and you're eating the energy from the sun essentially, right?
all fossil fuels is energy from sunlight.
Right.
It's just not renewable.
Yes, it is.
It's a one-time use.
No, it's not. It burns into the atmosphere, and eventually the plants take it back in, and eventually the plants die, and you have oil again. Basically, it's just it takes days and it costs a lot of money. And so ethanol, yeah, you can do it just like you could carbon dioxide, but we don't want to do that because we already spent money in ethanol and buying new shit costs money, and we ain't here to buy new shit. We're here to spend it on yachts and have everyone else spend it on whatever, and we pay for it so we can enjoy it. And we can't enjoy a new machine. The future can, which is why fuck them. I want to enjoy it now. Me give me the money, right? And I'm not gonna invest on new machines. And this is why schools still have fucking computers from like the 90s and shit. Basically, programs they used back then, and why kids aren't learning and evolving and whatnot. It's because of this bullshit. And why you think, what's it called? Everything used to come from the sun, but it's not renewable energy. Yeah, it is. It just takes a lot fucking longer. You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of the point.
So, all plants get their energy, all surface plants get their energy from the sun. You eat plants, you get energy from that.
Right.
If you eat meat, you eat some animal that ate an animal or ate plants.
Right.
And so the tracking is back to the sun.
Right.
Now, here's something deep. What generally
Try me.
do fish eat?
I was going to say fish food. That was what came to mind first.
Fish food, of course.
Most kids would agree with you. Fish food, because that's their role. That's their world. That's all they know. So that's what I'm gonna say. Where does energy come from? It comes from the plug in the wall. No shit. 'Cause that's all they know, right? It's your job to tell them this is what this is. This is what this is, and that's why education is so important. and why they're trying to fuck it up because they want as many dumbasses as they possibly can have, so that you get tricked by bullshit and you are willing to fuck around with them, and you're letting them use you and the best years of you, and then throw you away, and then want, oh yeah, you can have her now that she has nothing left, and it's like, why would I want to get with that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, do they eat stuff in the ocean, algae and stuff?
Eat other fish.
Yeah, but then who eat?
Well, I'm getting there. Good one. Good one.
Wait a second.
Wait. This is where I'm headed. Okay.
This is turtles all the way down.
That's all the way down. But it can't go all the way down.
Why not?
This is why you can't. There's no such thing as a stable cannibal society. It's not stable.
Not yet.
Amongst other reasons, probably.
Like, yeah, you see, Neil deGrasse Tyson, you're talking about you're definitively trying to say something about something that you can't definitively say, and you're talking to a man who knows a bit more, enough to at least question it. And this is why you don't hire people that can do that, and why you hire other idiots and whatnot, because it's just they say, yes, sir, right away, sir, your butt crack, me smell like ass, sir. You know what I'm saying? But the second you're like, wait a minute, then they don't hire you anymore.
I'm sure there's
I'm sorry. I'm not ranking the reasons. I'm just offering reasons. Because you can't just keep eating each other.
Right.
Because you will run out of people.
Sure.
But you can say, well, why don't we reproduce faster than we eat? That's not possible, because if you're a fully nourished human being, you have to eat at least a whole other human being.
Right.
Because you are a human being, right? You have to eat at least that. And if you just run the numbers, you can never have a stable thing where you're only eating other things that are being born within it. At some point, you need a source from the outside.
So what Neil's trying to say is you can't have a system run off of itself. It's called perpetual energy. No shit, Neil, you dumb fat fuck. Like, no shit, we know perpetual energy doesn't exist, basically. But what you can do is take a human that grew up in the world eating plants, eating sharks, eating all that shit. I fucking cut her head off and eat her body, and I can live off of humans in that way. I'm a cannibalism, eating other humans forever. But that human living off of me as this, no, that won't work. You know what I'm saying? But her living off the system and me getting to her and eating her, basically, not that way, you perverts, but me eating her, I could. So you knew you're wrong.
So the big fish eats the littler fish, eats the littler fish, eats the littler fish. This goes all the way down until you get the plankton. So the fish start eating all the way down.
Right.
And then you get to some point where, if that's all that was happening, the ocean would just eat itself and there'd be no living things, no fishes left in the ocean.
Stop putting the cart before the horse. No. It was nothing, and energy started building somewhere, and then life. And then life started growing, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as carnivores started to happen, as alphas are eating betas, so forth and so on. You're reversing it. You're thinking of it backwards because you're a fucking idiot.
Something has to come in from the outside. Somebody's got to deliver the groceries.
SpongeBob. He has a pineapple under the sea.
You got it. You got it. His pineapple is actually in the sea.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
We need to correct that.
Okay, I'm just saying. I don't mean to get all technical on SpongeBob, but you finally reach the level of.
Technically, it's under the sea because it's in the ground, and the ground stops the water because it's water, and then it's ground, and his house is in the ground and it's under the sea. So shut the fuck up, Neil.
Plankton.
SpongeBob.
So,
Nailed it.
and there are two categories of plankton. Okay, one of them
has the secret and one doesn't. Ha ha ha.
Eats other life forms in the ocean. The other for nourishment. The other gets its energy from the sun. And they all live right at the surface where they can get sunlight. That is the base of the food chain of the ocean, the phytoplankton. If you kill them off, you will systematically render extinct every other fish in the ocean that eats other fish. Now, there might be some fish that eat like the kelp and seaweed and things. There might be some, but where does kelp get its energy from? The sun.
Right.
Okay, so the sun is the ultimate source of all energy
Bro.
in the typical fishes that we think of in the ocean. However,
Bro.
the ocean in certain parts is open to what typical fishes that we think of in the ocean. However,
Edit. Again, edit. Why?
the ocean in certain parts is open to what's below it. What's below the ocean? Well, you get through the crust, and below the crust is the mantle, and in the mantle is magma.
Beneath that Godzilla, according to the films.
Oh, is that right? Okay, I did not know that.
The Hollow Earth.
Yes. Thank you for enriching this scientific discussion here. So I keep thinking this should be magma PI. That would be a
That's manure, by the way.
fun
Go on.
sort of.
A really cool mustache that is past the point of boiling.
So below the crust, we get the mantle, and within the mantle is magma. Okay,
And I'm sorry, Godzilla, molten core, and doors, and my warrior that was named Authentic.
molten rock. Earth has retained still a considerable amount of heat from when it formed, and that heat wants to get out, and it gets out through volcanoes, through crevasses in the bottom of the ocean. The mid-ocean ridge are just such a place. One of these ridges goes through Iceland, the country. Iceland is growing because the continental plates are separating. Magma gurgles up, hardens, and is more Iceland.
Cool.
Okay.
That's a very good plan for the future.
We have discovered life forms that thrive on geochemical energy enabled by these hot vents at the bottom of the ocean.
Neat.
In apocalyptic Earth, even if the sun burns out, if someone plucked the sun out of the solar system and we fly off at a tangent into interstellar space, we will all die rapidly. But the life forms at the bottom of the ocean that are warm from the magma oozing up through the vents, they'll be just fine.
For
They
now.
will survive the death of Earth's surface. So that's another source of energy. By the way, geothermal energy, because Iceland is sitting at the separation of two continental plates, they're almost entirely geothermally driven. Their carbon footprint is minuscule. They have so much energy, they send water under their streets so that it never gets icy in the winter. We don't need snow plows. Just heat the streets.
Right.
So that's another source of, it's renewable in the sense that it's like a near infinite supply of Earth energy available to us. All right. Yes, it would one day run out, but not really because we had something to do with it. All right. It's the volcanoes got. Have you seen Earth
Yeah.
get angry? All right. It's got a lot to kill us in the future. So that's another source of energy. So these are different ways. So another way is hydroelectric. Okay, so that would be dams.
Anyway, the point was, it's all interesting. I could constantly spit it down all day. But I'm not gonna. I'm sitting there waiting for him to say something. He will. He does. And I do interrupt him. But that's it. I just want to say that gasoline is a renewable resource. It's just, it takes a very fucking long time. Ethanol is a renewable resource in the same light. It's just faster because we have mechanisms that speed it up, basically. And that just goes on. Again, they want to spend money on new things because that costs money, and they want to just enjoy the money and not spend it because they're douchebags. And that's who runs our world. Why spend money to make things better when we could just, milk the money and, let them eat cake? Like, why are they starving? Let them eat cake. That's what it is. Anyways, be well, be happy, be safe. I'm out. God bless, Godspeed. Poo poo pee pee caca. Peace.